In a world where we are more connected than ever before, where social media promises to bring us closer together, there is a silent epidemic sweeping across our society. It's an epidemic that knows no boundaries, an epidemic that affects people of all ages, races, and walks of life. This epidemic is loneliness. Sarah was a young woman in her 20s, living in a bustling city surrounded by people, yet feeling utterly alone. She had hundreds of friends on social media, but no one to turn to when she needed a shoulder to cry on. She spent her days scrolling through endless feeds of carefully curated lives, feeling increasingly disconnected from the world around her. Sarah's story is not unique. It is the story of millions of people across the globe. Loneliness has become a pervasive problem in our modern society. Studies have shown that over 40 adults in America report feeling lonely, and this number is only rising. In the United Kingdom, the problem is so severe that the government has appointed a minister for loneliness to tackle the issue. But why is this happening? Why are we feeling so disconnected from one another despite living in an age of unprecedented connectivity? The root causes of this loneliness epidemic are complex and multifaceted. Social media, which was supposed to bring us closer together, has instead created a culture of comparison and superficiality. We present carefully crafted versions of ourselves online, hiding our true feelings and vulnerabilities. We have more friends than ever before, but fewer genuine connections. Our fast-paced lives leave little time for deep, meaningful relationships. We rush from one thing to the next, rarely taking the time to truly connect with those around us. The consequences of chronic loneliness are severe. Loneliness has been linked to a host of mental and physical health problems, including depression, anxiety, heart disease, and even premature death. It weakens our immune systems, making us more susceptible to illness and disease. Loneliness is as harmful to our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It is a silent killer, slowly eroding our well-being and quality. But we cannot accept this as our reality. We cannot allow loneliness to continue to plague our society, stealing our joy and robbing us of the connections we so desperately need. It is time for us to take action, to recognize the severity of this problem and to do something about it. We must start by breaking down the stigma surrounding loneliness. We must create a culture where it is okay to admit that we are struggling, where it is okay to reach out for help. We must prioritize genuine human connection, making time for face-to-face interactions and deep, meaningful conversations. We must look out for one another, checking in on our friends and loved ones, offering support and companionship when it is needed. But this is not a problem that can be solved by individuals alone. It requires a collective effort, a societal shift in the way we prioritize and value human connection. We must create communities that foster belonging and inclusivity, where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. We must invest in programs and initiatives that combat loneliness, particularly for vulnerable populations like the elderly and those with disabilities. This is not an easy task, but it is a necessary one. We cannot continue to ignore the loneliness epidemic to pretend that it doesn't exist or that it will go away on its own. We must confront it head-on with courage, compassion, and a commitment to creating a more connected world. So let us come together. Let us stand united in the face of this epidemic. Let us reach out to one another, offering a listening ear, a helping hand, a warm embrace. Let us prioritize the relationships that matter most, investing time and energy into the people who bring light and love into our lives. Let us create a world where no one has to suffer the pain of loneliness, where everyone feels valued, supported, and connected. A path forward will not be easy, but it is a path we must walk together. We have the power to create change, to transform our society into one where loneliness is no longer the norm. It starts with each and every one of us, with the choices we make and the actions we take. So let us choose connection. Let us choose compassion. Let us choose to be there for one another. Together we can heal the wounds of loneliness and build a brighter, more connected future for us all. As we grapple with the loneliness epidemic, it's crucial to make a distinction between loneliness and solitude. While loneliness is a painful state of feeling disconnected and isolated, solitude is a powerful tool for self-discovery, creativity, and inner peace. In a world that constantly demands our attention and energy, solitude offers a respite, a chance to reconnect with ourselves and tap into our own wisdom. Throughout history, great thinkers, leaders, and artists have drawn strength from solitude. Henry David Thoreau, the renowned American writer and philosopher, spent 2 years living alone in a cabin by Walden Pond. In this time of solitude, he wrote his masterpiece, Walden, a reflection on simple living and the importance of self-reliance. Thoreau believed that solitude was essential for deep thought and self-discovery, famously writing, "I never found the companion that was so companionable as solitude." Similarly, Mahatma Gandhi, the iconic leader of India's independence movement, often retreated into periods of solitude and silence. He believed that these moments of quiet reflection were crucial for gaining clarity and strength. Gandhi once said, in the attitude of silence, the soul finds the path in a clearer light, and what is elusive and deceptive resolves itself into crystal clearness. But solitude isn't just for great leaders and thinkers. Each and every one of us can benefit from time spent alone. In solitude, we have the opportunity to tune out the noise of the world and tune into our own thoughts and feelings. We can ask ourselves the deep questions that get lost in the hustle and bustle of daily life. Who am I one? What truly matters to me? Solitude also provides a fertile ground for creativity. When we're constantly surrounded by others, it can be difficult to hear our own creative voice. But in the quiet of solitude, new ideas and insights can bubble to the surface. Many artists and writers have found that their best work emerges from periods of solitude. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, "There's only one journey, born inside yourself." But perhaps most importantly, solitude allows us to cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment. In the stillness of solitude, we can learn to be comfortable in our own company, to find joy and fulfillment within ourselves. We can develop a stronger sense of self, a deeper understanding of our own needs and desires. Of course, in our busy modern lives, finding time for solitude can be a challenge. We're constantly bombarded with emails, notifications, and demands on our time. But making space for solitude is crucial for our mental and emotional well-being. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture like moving to a cabin in the woods. It can be as simple as taking a few minutes each day to sit in silence, to take a walk in nature, or to engage in a solo hobby like reading or painting. The key is to be intentional about carving out this time for ourselves. We must recognize the value of solitude and prioritize it in our lives. This might mean setting boundaries with others, saying no to social invitations or work demands in order to protect our alone time. It might mean waking up a little earlier to meditate or journal before the day begins. But the benefits of solitude are well worth the effort. When we make time to connect with ourselves, we tap into a deep well of wisdom and strength. We become more resilient in the face of life's challenges, more creative in our endeavors, and more at peace with ourselves and the world around us. So let us not fear solitude, but rather embrace it as a powerful tool for growth and self-discovery. Let us schedule regular solo time, whether it's a few minutes each day or a longer retreat once in a while. In these moments of solitude, we can reconnect with ourselves, recharge our batteries, and gain the clarity and perspective we need to navigate life's ups and downs. Solitude is not a luxury, but a necessity. It is the key to unlocking our full potential, to living a life of purpose and meaning. So let us cherish our alone time. Let us protect it fiercely, and let us use it to cultivate the strength, wisdom, and peace that resides within each and every one of us. In a world that often pulls us outward, solitude invites us to journey inward. It is in this inner world that we find the answers we seek, the creativity we crave, and the peace we desire. So let us not shy away from solitude, but rather see it as the gift that it is, a chance to be fully and apologetically ourselves, to connect with our deepest truths, and to emerge renewed and inspired. Solitude is not a punishment, but a privilege. It is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It is not something to be avoided, but to be. For in the quiet moments of solitude, we find the courage to face our fears, the clarity to make tough decisions, and the compassion to love ourselves and others more deeply. So let us make space for solitude in our lives. Let us carve out time to be alone with our thoughts, our dreams, and our inner wisdom. Let us use this time to reflect, to create, to heal, and to grow. And let us emerge from our solitude not as isolated individuals, but as more connected, more compassionate, and more fully alive human beings. In the end, solitude is not about separating ourselves from the world, but about finding our place within it. It is about learning to be at home in ourselves so that we can be truly present with others. It is about cultivating inner peace so that we can bring more peace to the world around us. So let us celebrate solitude in all its forms. Let us find the courage to be alone and the wisdom to know when it's time to come together. Let us use our solitude to fuel our creativity, our compassion, and our connection to all of life. And most of all, let us remember that in the quiet moments of solitude, we are never truly alone. We are connected to a deeper source of wisdom, love, and strength that resides within us all. And it is from this place of inner connection that we can create a world of greater peace, joy, and unity. True happiness is a pursuit that many of us chase throughout our lives, often believing it resides in the relationships we cultivate or the accolades we achieve. But what if I told you that the key to genuine happiness lies not in external validation, but within ourselves? The truth is that true contentment comes from recognizing our own worth and learning to be at peace. There was a time in my life when I looked to others for my happiness. I believed that love, friendship, and recognition were the ultimate sources of joy. I sought validation from friends, family, and colleagues, convinced that their approval would fill the void I felt inside. However, as I navigated through various relationships and experiences, I realized that this external pursuit of happiness was a never-ending cycle. Each time I achieved something or received praise, the high was fleeting and the emptiness would return. One pivotal moment changed my perspective forever. I found myself at a crossroads, feeling utterly lost and unfulfilled despite being surrounded by people who cared for me. It was during this time that I decided to embark on a journey of self-reflection and exploration. I began to understand that I needed to learn to feel whole and complete on my own, without relying on anyone else for my sense of self-worth. This journey was not easy. It involved diving into the depths of my own thoughts and fears, confronting the insecurities I had long buried. I began to practice solitude, as we discussed before, giving myself the space to simply be. In those quiet moments, I started to discover the beauty of my own company. I learned to listen to my inner voice, to understand my needs and desires, and to appreciate my uniqueness. Through this process, I also discovered the transformative power of meditation. Taking just a few minutes each day to sit in silence and observe my thoughts was a revelation. It allowed me to cultivate a sense of inner peace and clarity that I had never experienced before. I learned to let go of the chaos of the outside world and focus on the present moment. Meditation became a sanctuary, a place where I could reconnect with myself and foster a sense of contentment that was independent of anyone else. Gratitude also played a vital role in my journey towards self-contentment. I began to practice gratitude daily, taking time to reflect on the things I appreciated in my life, big and small. This simple act shifted my focus from what I lacked to what I had, transforming my outlook and allowing me to find joy in the ordinary. It was in moments of stillness, whether it was sipping my morning coffee or watching the sunset, that I realized happiness is often found in the little things. Self-love emerged as another essential practice on this path to inner fulfillment. I learned to treat myself with kindness and compassion, just as I would a dear friend. I began to acknowledge my strengths and celebrate my accomplishments, no matter how small. Embracing self-love meant letting go of self-criticism and recognizing that I was deserving of happiness simply for being myself. As I continued to cultivate these practices, meditation, gratitude, and self-love, I began to feel a profound shift within me. I realized that my happiness was no longer dependent on others or external circumstances. I discovered a reservoir of joy that was always present, waiting to be tapped into. Instead of searching for validation from others, I found comfort and acceptance within myself. This newfound sense of self-acceptance empowered me to forge deeper connections with others, not from a place of neediness, but from a place of abundance. When we learn to love ourselves, we can approach relationships with a fullness that enriches both ourselves and those we interact with. We no longer seek to fill voids, but rather to share our joy and experiences with others. Now, I urge each of you to embark on your own journey of cultivating contentment from within. Embrace solitude as an opportunity for self-discovery and reflection. Allow yourself to sit in silence and listen to your thoughts. Create a space in your life for meditation, even if it's just a few minutes a day. Practice gratitude regularly and take note of the beauty that surrounds you. Most importantly, nurture self-love by treating yourself with kindness and recognizing your inherent worth. As you begin to implement these practices, you'll find that true happiness is not a destination, but a state of being. It is a choice to embrace who you are, to find joy in the present moment, and to cultivate a deep sense of inner peace. When you learn to be content within yourself, you become a beacon of light for others. The journey towards self-contentment is ongoing, filled with ups and downs, but it is one of the most rewarding experiences you can undertake. Embrace each moment. Learn from your experiences and continue to grow. Remember, happiness is not something to be chased or earned. It is a state of being that resides within you, waiting to be embraced. In a world that often pushes us to seek validation externally, let us reclaim that power for ourselves. Let us be the architects of our own happiness, grounded in the knowledge that we are whole and complete exactly as we are. And as we cultivate this inner contentment, we can extend that joy to others, creating a ripple effect of love and connection that enriches our lives and the lives of those around us. So let us celebrate the journey of self-discovery, the power of solitude, and the beauty of finding happiness within. Together we can build a world filled with compassion, understanding, and a deep appreciation for the incredible beings we are.
Life is start with what you say. Let me give you an example. Think about someone how hard life is every time you see them the energy are they putting out into the world? So what kind of opportunities the good kind, that's motivational speech, cannot you that that's the power of words, that the power of controlling your mouth. If you want to, you want to be a leader, if you want to make god to get check, stop speaking defeat I can and start saying I will. Stop talking about what going wrong and start and don't just people around you. What you got to you others.